Hi, welcome. Simon here and hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to walk you through step by step on how to do a screen replacement on a MacBook Pro 13-inch. You can see that the bottom left corner, there's a crack on the glass and it kind of make the display all pixelated. I have all these funny lines, funny colors on the screen. So I need to replace the LCD. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. If you're not sure where to identify the model, take a look at the back of your computer here. You should be able to see that it says model A1708. Alright, before you go ahead and continue with the repair, definitely you want to go check it out, the link down description below. What I'll do is I'll link it where you can buy the screen replacement. This is a full assembly screen replacement, meaning that it comes with the webcam, the hinge, everything in just one piece together. Okay, and of course you do need to have the right tools. So far you probably need to have 2, 4, 5 screwdriver. They're all different sizes, and maybe a plastic prying tool, some sort of prying tool to pry things open. All right, let's go ahead and get started. And again, I'll link it down description below where you can buy directly from Amazon or eBay for this repair. And let's get going. First thing you need to have is what we call the Pentalope P5. Pentalope P5 is the little star looking shape and it's 1.2 the size of that screwdriver here. Okay, let's go ahead and remove the screw here. The screws on the top left and top right is much longer. Keep that in mind. And the screws at the bottom is a lot shorter. So for my case, the laptop has bad battery, meaning that my battery is swollen. So it's pushing out the trackpad as well as the back cover. So I'm having a little hard time to unscrew at the moment because the battery is pushing against the back cover. Hopefully you do not have the same situation as I do. Alright, once I have removed the 4 screws at the bottom, at this point here, you want to go ahead and get your metal prying tool or some sort of prying tool to go in between that plastic cover and pry it open. Okay, for my case, again, like I said, the battery is pushing it, separating the back cover, so I do not need to do that process. But for you, you might have to go underneath and pop it open. There's no screw on both sides of the corner, so you definitely have to push it hard enough to pry it open to separate that little clicker. There's a little clicker that clicks onto the hold onto the clipper that holds onto the little click. Okay, so once you have done that process, what you want to do is to slide the back cover down towards the body. So slide it down like such. Okay, and that's how you remove the back cover. So this is where it kind of gets slide into the computer. Okay, so that right there is to slide into. You need to slide it out, and then that little clipper that you need to pop it and then click and it pops. Okay, here I want to show it to you that my battery is really bad. As you can see that the battery is swollen, it's lumpy, and it's like pregnant. So it's kind of pushing, separating the cover. Okay, so if you're having that, more likely you're overcharging your battery, meaning that you always leave it plugged in all the time, so which is the bad idea. All right, let me kind of zoom in a little bit. We're going to focus on things that we're going to work on as we get going. The next step is to make sure you kind of peel this little plastic cover, this little tape backwards, and you can expose the battery connector. Go ahead and flip open that little clipper, and then you want to slide this cable to your left to remove it. But if you feel like you do not want this little thing, you can just remove it as well. Okay, make sure you do not break that little wire here. Okay, once you have done with the process, now the battery is going to get disconnected. Get yourself a T5. Do we have a T5? Right, so this is the Torque 5 T5 screwdriver. Go ahead and remove this little screw to disconnect the battery as well. Okay, once we have done with that process, let's go ahead and get a T3. We're going to start from the bottom left corner here, and to remove that little T3, which is the Torque 3, we are going to remove that screw. This 1, 2. Okay, and remove this bracket. And using a T3, we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with that. So that 2 screws right there. Okay, 1, 2. So that this little plastic will just come loose. Okay, 2 screws here, which is holding down the bracket. So go ahead and remove that. And the other 2 screws that is holding down the same video bracket. Go ahead and remove them. I'm still using a T3, which is the Torque 3 screwdriver. Okay, and the other 2 screws here. All right, and then now the next step is to remove that 2 screws, which is the top right corner for that hinge, the LCD screen hinge. Remove that and remove the plastic. Okay, once you've done with that process, we're going to come back here. Use a T5 screwdriver. And we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, and 4 screws, okay? Okay, once you have removed the 4 screws, what you want to do is go ahead and get a plastic prying tool and pry open this cable right here. That cable right there is to connect the display into that LCD board here. Once you have disconnect the LCD cable, now you can see that the screen board is free and good to go. Okay, using the same T5 screwdriver, I'm going to remove this screw here. That is to remove the Wi-Fi antenna. And what you want to do is go underneath that cable and just pop it straight up. Okay, once you have done with that, now the next step is to get yourself a Pentalope 0.8. So this is a Pentalope P2. Pentalope P2, the 0.8, the little star shape, that is the one to remove the Wi-Fi antenna. There's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on one side, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 on the other side. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Make sure you have the right grip. Okay, when you put in that screwdriver, make sure that you are not tilting at certain angle. You need to have a firm grip on that. And then when you unscrew that screw, make sure you are confident to turn it and not to just try, because if you strip that screw, then you might have additional work to remove the strip screw. Anyway, sometimes accident happens, you know, unlucky, whatever event. If you strip the screw, do not panic. I made a separate video just to show on how to remove that strip screws. Okay, so if it happens to you that you strip that screw and you need help to remove that strip screw, check the link down description below. I will show it to you how to remove that strip screw. Okay, once we have done with that, the next step is what I like to do is to remove the Wi-Fi antenna. I'm just going to wiggle a little bit because in the middle here, this metal bracket is the line that's holding down the Wi-Fi antenna. So once you wiggle on both sides, the Wi-Fi antenna would come loose. Okay, now you want to pay attention to this cable. These two cables is going underneath that little hole right there. So you need to slide it out away from your body. So slide it that way. Okay, now we are done. Move on to the next step. Get yourself a T8. This is the Torque 8 screwdriver. And go ahead and remove the 3 screws here. 1, 2, 3. Holding down the hinge, which is your LCD screen. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so 3 screws removed. Come here and remove the other 3. Okay, once you have removed all 3 screws, please go ahead and open up the screen. So I'm just going to open up the screen at this point. I'm going to push it all the way to the back where you can slide that little the hinge out of the laptop. Let me kind of zoom it out a little bit. Okay, so at this point you want to just slide it out, and the same thing on the other side. Just slide it out and the whole screen will just come out as one piece together. Okay, so once we have done with that process, let's go ahead and unwrap this new screen. Okay, let's get right into it. This is the space gray. And go ahead and gently, do not break anything. There is a little plastic here holding down the LCD. If you need to cut it, you can just cut the plastic. Okay, so this is it, right? Now we can remove the old screen. And here, what I like you to do is to make sure that the hinge is kind of pushed all the way to the back on both sides. Push it all the way to the back. And you want to have the LCD board, this little LCD board, go on top of the laptop together with this flex cable right here, the 2 flex cable. Okay, you want to make sure that they go on above and on top of your laptop. Now the next step is to make sure you align the hinge back and try to slide it in to your laptop. So just like that. Slide it in on one side and slide it in on the other side. So both sides, slide it all the way in. You can see that it's in. And same for this one here. So while you're holding the screen, get 1 screw here. Okay, get the T8 and then screw it in. Okay, I just put 1 screw holding down the hinge. I'll do another screw on this side. Let me hold down the hinge. Okay, now I can close the screen and continue working. When you close the screen, you want to double check, making sure that the LCD board, the LCD PCB board and the flex cable is not clipped or anything getting pinched onto it. Okay, so make sure that it's sitting on top the motherboard. Let me zoom it back in and I will finish up the hinge. 2 more screws. Okay, 3 on one side, another 3 on the other side. Okay, once we have done with that process, the next step is to slide the Wi-Fi antenna back in. So what I like to do is making sure that the board is down and the antenna would go on top of it. Okay, and there's a little hole right here. If you can see, that is the hole underneath this. Okay, hopefully you guys can see it. There's a little hole right there. So slide that Wi-Fi antenna into that hole. Okay, into that hole, and then go on top of the motherboard. Okay, so using a plastic here to guide that cable to go on top of the motherboard. You need to guide it. Now here comes the metal part. That little metal has to go on top of the motherboard as well. Okay, once you've done with that, remember the one in the center. The center here is where you kind of clip onto the Wi-Fi antenna. So kind of just align them and then press it in just like that. Just press it in the center. Okay, once you've done with that process, what I like to do is to fold this thing back, the motherboard, the LCD board. Okay, fold it in while I'm holding it down, making sure that the Wi-Fi antenna is all aligned, where I can see the screw that goes directly together onto each other. Get myself a T5. This is the torque 5. And I'm going to have 4 screws going back in, holding down the LCD board as well as the Wi-Fi antenna. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and that is the 4th screw. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4 screws back in. Now I'm going to put the Wi-Fi screw holding down this to go back in as well. And remember the cable. So that little cable is going to go on top of that circle. Make sure you align them correctly and then gently press it in. Do not force the Wi-Fi antenna connector back together. They're not meant to be forced in. So the key is to align them on top of each other, that little circle, and just gently push it in. You do not want to break and force it in and bend that little connector. Okay, the key is just to align them correctly. Okay, once we have done with that process, we then now can move on to the next step, is to kind of flip and tilt this little plastic like backwards, go in this direction. Okay, press it in. This is running on the T3, torque 3, 1 screw. Okay, the 2nd screw. Clip it in, tuck it in. Okay. Now you want to connect the LCD cable. Just making sure that the LCD goes on top, and then press it down and have the bracket that goes back in. Here comes it T3 and 2 screws that goes back into it. Okay, once you have that screw in, do not forget the second screw. Just be patient with it. The screw is so tiny and I'm having some hard time to put it in. Oh God. Okay. Okay, finally. So when you have all the screws back together, now here comes the last piece. Here is to slide this plastic connector back in and 2 screws. Slide it in. Have the 2 screws go back together. Okay, now the next step is the Pentalope P2 0.8. That's the size of it, 0.8. And we're gonna have all this tiny little screw that goes back in for the Wi-Fi antenna. So take your time when you make sure that you do not strip the screw. They're really tiny and might be difficult to put in. So just be patient, one at a time, and you should be able to get everything in. If you miss 1 or 2 screws on the Wi-Fi antenna, it is okay. You don't have to have all the screws, in my opinion. 6 of them is too much in one side of it. If you want, you might want to just put like 4, 2 on each, or maybe 3 on each side is good. And if you're watching this video so far, you can follow along, and you feel like you're almost there, so just be patient. We are almost to the finish line. Okay, once I've done with all that process, the last one is to use the T5. This is the torque 5. I'm gonna have the thing going back here. And then you want to slide this cable to your right, making sure the connector is open. Slide it in. Use that little plastic to push and pull to the right, making sure you go all the way in like such. And then you can close that little clipper, close it down to secure it. The next step is to go ahead and slide the back cover together. So at this point, you want to slide it in like such. Push it all the way in. And then press the both side clippers on left and right and have all the screws to go back together, which is the P5, Pentalope P5. That is the 1.2. If you were able to fix the screen, replace the screen by yourself, and if you like the video, please go ahead and smash the like button for me. I really appreciate you for doing that. Liking the video, and if this is helpful, comment down below. Let me know that if you were able to fix the screen or not. And if you want to show appreciation, just to say thank you to me, you can click on the super thanks. YouTube do have these super thanks, which allow you to do a small donation to the channel, and I would really appreciate that you show your appreciation of this video. Okay, I'm gonna have some hard time to put the screw back together again. For my case, it's because the battery is swollen, it's pushing the back cover. I'm having that difficult time to screw things back together, but hopefully for you it's not the case for that. Okay, I need to redo this. Okay, once it's done, and what you want to do is to get the charger to plug it in. Because I do need to have the charger. I need to have the charger for this reason. All right, there you go. You can see that the screen comes on. I need to cover up the... So there you go. We have display. And yeah. All right, thanks for watching. Again, feel free to smash the like button for me. If you want to know where to buy the tools, check the link down description below. I'll link you to Amazon and you can get it directly from them. Again, thanks for watching. Until next time, bye now.